Everyone. So glad to see you guys again. Let me just quickly check the various platforms to make sure that our live has started. It will be just a minute now. Okay, we should be good to go. Perfect. Amazing. YouTube is working. Let me quickly check on Facebook as well. We're also on LinkedIn today. And if my setup is right, we'll see if Instagram works as well. One more platform per week. Let's see where it gets us. So glad to be with you guys again. Let me share my screen so it's easier for you to follow through this presentation. There. That should be much better now. All right, let's get started. I'm so excited for you to be attending this masterclass about redefining success, whether it is live, hopefully, or through the replay. So the idea is not only to redefine success, but most importantly, to redefine it on our own terms as sensitive, not to say highly sensitive go-getters. So if this is your first time meeting me, I'm Lina. I'm really nice to meet you. I am a highly sensitive go-getter myself. I have recognized the trait within me a couple of years ago now, and that's what's making me so passionate about guiding fellow highly sensitive people like ourselves to learn how to be able to thrive in a world that does not always understand our uniqueness, and far than not understanding, that sometimes guilts us for it. So yeah, I know how it can be like, especially when you're ambitious, driven, you want to succeed, and personally, it led me to not one, not two, but three burnouts throughout a decade within my plus 15 careers. And the thing is, I've realized whether I've worked, I used to work in IT, but I also worked in marketing. I worked in big corporations. I worked in small and medium enterprises. I worked within a startup world. And the thing is, it's been very enlightening every time. I've had beautiful reviews and beautiful connections, human connections, whether with my managers, my colleagues, my clients. But I've experimented burnout or high stress, constant stress level very frequently. And I came to understand that the problem was, well, sometimes the culture was not the best, but that's another debate. Let's take also some ownership there and recognize that had I known then what I know now about the uniqueness of our trait, I would probably have handled things differently. For me, my way of changing things around was to become self-employed as a freelancer and a solopreneur in order to be able to work around my energy levels, my specificities as a high sensitive person, whether it's my creativity, my depthness of process, my ability to be empathizing with clients. And it opened a whole new world for me. But I understand it's not always possible for various reasons. And that's why I understand how important it is to have the right tools to be able to go through this sometimes daily battle in order to find some sort of balance as highly sensitive, driven, either entrepreneurs or executives. And so, who's this masterclass for? So that you know if you've registered, if you're taking part to the right masterclass, because we're all like constantly called from one part to another. There's a lot of interesting content, so sometimes it's hard to make it work around their schedules. So this is the right space for you if you are first a highly sensitive overachiever, go-getter, driven person. Let's put it this way so it's easier. Who's constantly fighting with overwhelm and the weight of chronic stress. Stress per se is not something bad. When we were hunters and gatherers, stress is what helped us survive when we were attacked, let's say, by a long teeth tiger. However, we're not surviving literally for our lives. But the way we made stress constantly part of it, it's like we are putting our body through the hardship of thinking that we're going to be dying basically at any time. And the problem is this: it's not stress, it's chronic stress. And especially for us highly sensitive people who process all the emotions so deeply. So, joy, wow, like I don't know for you guys, for me, when I'm with my 5-year nephews and we see a beetle or a ladybug, we're like, wow, like we have seen the eighth wonder of the world. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. However, on the other side, when something is just slightly triggering to some other people, it might induce a whole lot of bigger effects of overthinking, of struggling, of arousal. And that's what can make it so hard to be settled, to set our boundaries. Also, it was a topic of the Ferber Masterclass, saying no without being afraid to hurt other people's feelings, because we deeply care about that. If you're someone who's also exhausted physically, mentally, emotionally, because we tend to be perfectionists as high sensitive people, we want to do it the best in the best possible way, and we want to get it right from our first try. Can you imagine the pressure? Imagine Michelangelo trying to sculpt and to get the perfect sculpture from the first try. This is insane, but this is how our brain processes things. And it tends also to not only have put a toll in our physical, but also our mental health, with our deeply connected. And so if you're experimenting this, if you have let your health take the backseat in your life because you've been prioritizing success, especially if you're an entrepreneur like me, we want to prove that we're not completely crazy for maybe resigning and starting over at 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever. Sometimes it can be pretty isolating. Of course, not all highly sensitive people are introverts. About a third of us are extroverts. I am one. However, social encounters, especially if we don't know how to say no, put a stop to it, can be pretty draining after a while because we need more resting time. And so that's the problem. When we're not aware of this, that's what makes us more prone to burnout, this depth of processing capability. And just I'm not a therapist. I'm a mindset coach and a transformation facilitator. So my mission, if you are experimenting burnout, and I'm going to be sharing the symptoms in a couple of seconds actually, then I would recommend highly that you go get yourself a therapist. My mission, my purpose here is to help people who have unfortunately been through burnout, which happens a lot within highly sensitive peoples, and who are on this next phase, this transition from, okay, I've been through hell, I'm out of it, what now? How do I get back on track? How do I make it back to my normal, or maybe to a new normal, a more sustainable, happier kind of normal life? So if you're someone who's been feeling constantly drained, experimenting brain fog, mental fatigue, if you have a hard time on a chronical basis to be able to cope or to sleep, if you've been feeling really sad, angry, irritable, or completely numbed out day after day for a long time, if you have nurtured an addiction, it can be to nicotine, to sugar, to alcohol, to other substances, it doesn't matter. But if you feel the need to look for solace in addictive substances, know that it can take you very far. It can lead to heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. Burnout is a monster, a big trauma. And the tough part is the first time we get it, we tend not to recognize it. We think, oh, it's just stress. I'm tired. I just need a few days off. The problem is that once it's settled, it's so hard to get out of it. I have known people within my colleagues who were brilliant, who were so talented, and who were so resistant and so resilient that they kept pushing and pushing and pushing until they collapsed. Some people, they cannot, one morning, they just cannot get out of bed. Literally, their body doesn't carry them anymore. And the problem, if you're facing any of these signs, is get yourself to a doctor, a therapist as soon as possible. However, if you have done that job and you're wondering how to take it from here, then maybe there are a few things in this masterclass or within my coaching that can help out. So, what are we talking about today specifically? Is exploring. And again, it's an exploration, it's giving ourselves permission to experiment, try, and if it doesn't work, see what to adjust in order to make it work or work better next time. So the idea is, yes, to explore together how to put up, define, design empowering ways that will enable us to redefine success. Success can be translated into so many ways. But the idea is that for each and every one of us highly sensitive people, the struggle is that we tend to take external party success and take it as our reference. However, if we want to make it work sustainably, we have to own, and I'm really underlining this need for ownership, we have to recognize that we're just wired differently, and it's beautiful. And it can be tremendously helpful to succeed. However, if we want to make it work, we have to let success be something that matches our values, our specific needs, our unique traits, and not give a secondary role to our health. Our health is what will let us remain successful. So, yeah, today what I want to explore with you guys is how can we redefine success so that it matches what we truly want, what we truly need, what works with our gifts. Because yes, it's a gift to be a highly sensitive person once you know how to make it work for you rather than against you. So, in order to get there, I want to start by offering something that we did last week. I don't know if you've attended or watched the replay. I would like to start with breathwork. And so I'm going to invite you right now, whether you're seated, which you probably are. Well, if you're seated, just remain seated, but try and have elongated, straight spine. The idea is that the air will circulate better if you have like a straight back and a straight neck. So put yourself in a position. You can remain seated again, or if you want, you can also lay down. It's completely up to you, as long as you're feeling comfortable and that your spine is straight. And right now, I'm inviting you to start by closing your eyes, taking a deep breath with your nose. Hold for just a couple of seconds, and I want you to be focusing on these couple of questions. What does success truly mean to you? What's your current personal own definition of success? And then what obstacles have you been encountering, facing in order to achieve it? And now you can breathe it out with your mouth with a loud sigh like that. All right, let's start once more. I'm gonna invite you to be taking another deep breath with your nose, letting your belly go completely out. And again, let it all out with a deep, loud sigh if you can. And now I will invite you, and you can gently open your eyes just for a sec so I can show you with the camera. I'm going to invite you to use your thumb, your right thumb, to close your right nostril, and you can put your left hand on your left knee. And we're going to be breathing with only our left nostril for a couple of rounds. So we'll be both inhaling and exhaling out of our left nostril. Let's get started. We will start with a deep breath from the left nostril. And exhale with the left nostril. Again, you may keep your eyes closed or have a soft gaze facing whatever you have in front of you. Let's go for round 2. Let's take a deep inhale with our left nostril. And exhale with our left nostril again. We're connecting with our creative, sensitive side. And one last time, let's take a deep breath in with our left nostril. Let it out with our left nostril once more. Keeping your eyes closed, you can now put your hands down. Breathe normally for a couple of rounds. And for this last bit of breath work, I will now invite you to be breathing with your mouth, following a specific pattern. So we will be inhaling not once but twice with our mouth. The first time we will be inhaling with our abdomen, our belly, if you'd like. And then the second inhale will be letting our chest go out so we can open basically our hearts. And then we will exhale still with our mouth, first with our chest and then with our stomach. Don't let it disturb you. I will be demonstrating and guiding you through it all. So I will put a gong for us to start our mouth. So thinking about your definition of success, let's take a couple of inhales with our mouth. Try to make it as soft, as slow as you can. There is no wrong way of doing it. Second time around. Third time around. Once more, as gently, deeply, and softly as you can. One more time. And maybe one last time. I would invite you to keep your eyes closed, to start rubbing one hand against the other. We will bring some warmth on our hands. You can breathe normally with your nose right now. Gently put your hands on your face. Open your fingers as you slowly put your hands down and open your eyes behind it. So what we did is called resonant breathing or resonant breathwork. It's meant to help reduce stress and anxiety, depending on the times and where you're at. If it's the end of the day or soon to be, I want you to know that it might help you if you want to practice some more on your own, improve your quality of sleep, improve also your mood. If it's the beginning of the day, it's okay because it's also a great way to bring more focus and concentration and lower blood pressure. I hope you're feeling as grounded and energized as I am. This is one of my favorite breathwork practices. So without further ado, let's go back to the topic of our masterclass, redefining success and challenging conventional ways of defining it. So it's not that there's something inherently wrong with, let's say, the mainstream definition of what success is. It's just that us highly sensitive people, again, are wired differently. It's not necessarily better or worse. It's just different. So the issue is that if we want to force ourselves, basically imagine those games that we had as kids where you were supposed to put I don't know, cubes into cubes and circle into circles. So basically, when we make ourselves follow the traditional, conventional definition of success, it's like trying to put squares or triangles within circles. It does not fit, and it's going to create a headache or disease. So in a world where success is often seen as hustle culture, like we have to go further and further, faster and faster, do more. Success means being wealthy, meaning having status and achievements and certifications and diplomas and whatever you want. In a world where we're constantly bombarded with messages that tell us that we're not good enough unless we have climbed the corporate ladder, we're head of something, a director of something, or chief of something, otherwise we're worthless. Where success is seen as having lots of branded or not branded positions and striving for constant outward recognition, it doesn't fit with our values and our unique gifts as highly sensitive people. Basically, it's a big no no for us because we experience the world in a totally different light. We're much more attuned to our emotions and other people's emotions. So, of course, it does mean that we're going to be living off water and love and clouds. Of course, we need to earn a living, not to be feeling insecure or anything. However, constantly striving, competing, is draining and fulfilling for us. So that cannot be our definition of success. How can something that makes us sick to our bones be seen as an achievement? It does not make sense, rationally speaking, because we just don't automatically relate to consumerism as success. It can be one part of it. That's completely fine. There is absolutely no judgment in there. But rich can mean so much more. Rich can be waking up in the morning, being able to do it without putting an alarm. Rich can be having the possibility to have quality times with your loved ones on a day and catching up on your work at a later time in the evening or over the weekend. Rich can mean simply having a balanced life where you have time to build a business or manage a team and reach your goals, but also have some rewinding time for yourself, time for workout or meditation or whatever brings you joy and solace. It can be also having maybe time and energy to give back if volunteering is something that you're into. And a lot of us highly sensitive peoples, we're more givers than takers. So we need this time that, because we tend to give so much, we need time to hold the space for us to receive space for sleep, receive space for reading, receive space for just listening to our thoughts and reconnecting with our inner self. And also, we tend to be highly creative as highly sensitive people, which means that we're not meant necessarily to be following a linear path with clearly defined milestones. Personally, although it drove my family crazy, I have had a million different careers. I was a project manager in marketing and communication and luxury. And then I was a project manager, but this time in IT. I did the traditional IT, the waterfall, and so on. And then I discovered the world of design thinking and agile, and I loved the way it completely opened the possibilities of experimentation, of failing as a learning curve, of bringing gamified way of succeeding using collective intelligence rather than having all the pressure to have all the answers as a product manager. And now I'm coaching people, I'm mentoring people, still for some in agile, for others into mindset or leadership. And I need to have had this kind of career. And I don't know 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now is what I will be doing. I just know that I will be doing something that has purpose and meaning for me. And this is something tremendously important for us as highly sensitive people. However, for people who are wired differently, it might just look weird. And that's okay. We don't have to agree on it. What matters is that we are aligned with what brings us joy, because we can only succeed and succeed in a healthy, sustainable way as long as we are aligned with those values, with those environments that let us be creative, be empathic, and be emotional. And that's why we need a different approach, a tailored, customized, personal approach where we will feel valued and we will feel recognized and we will feel like we bring and we make a difference and impact. That's the only way for us to be able to succeed in the long run without getting sick and tired and drained. And so that's why we need to be looking for paths, career paths, whatever they are, where we are able to prioritize our well-being and prioritize also what truly matters to us. Purpose is a big internal motivator for us. That's the way for us to achieve satisfaction, happiness, and to be able to succeed while accepting and I'd say even succeeding better working around our energy levels. And so, what I would like to end this section with is a couple of questions just for you to keep in the back of your mind. You can journal about it, or you can just rewatch this masterclass and try and make your own conclusions out of it. So basically, what I would like you to ponder upon is, what are the specific values that guide your life? I mentioned, for me, freedom, creativity, um, kindness are very important, beauty as well. Maybe for you it's family, maybe for you it's drive, maybe for you it's human connection. I don't know, there are so many possibilities. But so, what are your values? The one that drive you, guide you through your life, the one that ignite passion within you. And linked to that, what are the specific activities that energize you and bring you joy? And this way, you will start to maybe unclutter a bit things and see how we can align your current definition of success, basically where you're right now, with one that would be closer to the core aspects of yourself, so that you can lead a more authentic and meaningful life. Talking about what brings us joy, what helps us be more aligned, there are a couple of mistakes that we tend to make as highly sensitive people when we want to try to own it again. We tend to over comment the yes, yes, yes. I discussed it again in the last masterclass, the importance of boundaries. We tend to be people pleasers. That comes with our high level of empathy. So the idea is, it's perfectly fine to want to be helpful, to want to be there for others, to want to socialize, again, especially if you're an extroverted, highly sensitive person. However, you have to counter this kind of social FOMO that many of us tend to have. I suffer from it. It's a process, and learn how to put discipline, self-discipline being self-love, really. Learn to make downtimes an essential part of your weekly schedule, so you can recharge. The overly committing can also come with endless to-do lists. Again, we're not made to be part of the hustle culture. We have to have really clear priorities. Basically, from one day to the other, decide, okay, what are the three things that I must absolutely get done tomorrow? Three, not five, not 10, not 15. And then use our creativity to do it maybe in a different way. Another common mistake we tend to have or to make is to fall in the trap of toxic positivity. Yeah, it's hard, but I can do it. It's challenging, but I will grind my teeth and pull through. Oh, yeah, it's been complicated lately, but others have it worse. It is okay to acknowledge when we're going through a tough path, when things are challenging and hard. Positivity is something beautiful as long as it's authentic. If you're having, a shitty day, it's okay to acknowledge it for what it is, make your peace with it, and accept it like any other emotion. That's what will help you find the clarity and the strength to be able to overcome it. First, you have to sit with it, let it have its space, as like a guest basically coming to your house. And after tea or lunch or dinner, you can wave them goodbye. But you cannot just shut the door in their face and tell them, no, no welcome. You would end up, I think, losing a bunch of friends over time. Another mistake we tend to make, is embracing mainstream short fixes. Oh yeah, I heard that person wakes up at 4 or 5 a.m. every morning to go for a run. Yeah, I'm not a morning person, but it works so well for them. Let me join. Oh, hey, this person, she works out 45 minutes every day, or she just joined a CrossFit club and it completely changed her lives. Yeah, I'm usually more of a gentle sports kind of person, like Pilates or yoga or swimming. But if it works for her, it will work for me. No, it's a different journey for each and every one of us. So, whatever worked for someone else, of course, you're welcome to give it a try. Just again, don't make yourself a triangle that wants to fit in a circle at all costs. try and see what works specifically for you. And also, don't put too much pressure over it, because maybe for a while, running, jogging, hiking was something that would bring you energy. And maybe one day you hurt your knee, and so it's no longer possible. Does it mean that you have to stop all sports at all costs? No, but maybe you will have to explore something different. Or maybe you were someone who needed to get it out of your system, high yang energy. So, yeah, I mentioned CrossFit, but it could have been, I don't know, playing tennis or anything else. And one day you realize that you have changed and that you did need a different approach. It's perfectly okay. What's important is that you build around your life things, activities, passions, rituals that enable you to feel good. And if one day it no longer feels good, then it's completely okay to switch gears. And the important thing for me, like, again, one of my life missions is to help the people that I work with build a life they do not escape from. So basically, stop living for the weekend or the holiday and see how, on a day to day basis, you can try and wake up with a smile and go have a good night's sleep. Does it mean that you'll never be grumpy, tired, sad? Of course not. This is life. However, maybe you will be able to go through it without falling into the rabbit hole of overthinking, over processing, over tiring yourself. What I have been also working on too was that, as highly sensitive people, again, I mentioned that we have the tendency to feel the need to help so much, to be basically fixers, this savior syndrome that I again mentioned in the former masterclass. However, we have to be aware of the consequences. Basically, I read something that shifted completely my perspective, and that made me realize the toxic part of being a people pleaser at all costs is that whenever you would say yes to something that would be draining because you want to basically be liked by the other person, or you just don't want to hurt the feelings, you're actually being violent against yourself. You're sending yourself the message that you're not worth standing your ground and saying that no, it's not the right time or place, or just it's not something for you. And so that's why it's so important to understand ourselves, to have awareness in order to preserve our nervous system and our energy levels. And that's where fully tailored self care routines can come in, so that we can keep this anxiety, stress, and cortisol levels under check. And the idea is that for every one of us, it can be completely different. Maybe what works for me will not work for you. Personally, I have experimented a lot, and what worked at some point stopped working or worked differently, and it needed adjustment. And that's what made me realize that it's really a journey that you have to design and co-design in order to make it work for you, in order to be able to make it sustainable. Success is 5% the brains, the solution, the what you want to implement, and 95% consistency. So if you don't want to procrastinate on what is going to lift you up, if you want to keep it working for you in the long run, you have to figure out something that's easy for you to design, settle, and adjust if needed. I have a small method that I came up with, 3 easy steps I'm going to share with you. I'll let you experiment and see for yourselves. So it's easy. It's 3 steps for personal success through what lights you up and keeps you centered. 3 steps being recognizing, so it's about awareness, I'll explain in a moment. Customizing, going back to making it really personal and tailored to your specific needs, way of being, circadian rhythm. And habitualize meaning making it a habit. So the first thing, and maybe one of the biggest struggles that we have as highly sensitive people, I've just yesterday discovered that someone really close to my heart, that many of the problems that he had faced in work, in relationships, were probably linked to the fact that he was not aware that he was a highly sensitive person, and he was making himself function and push different ways of being, looking for third-party validation, putting himself through so much pressure, trying to be there for everyone. And I think if he had known then that he was a highly sensitive person, that he needed more rest time, because we process so much information and so deeply that we do need, as a structure in our lives, to have basically in our scheduled time to rest that is logged, it would have made all the difference. So the first thing is to be aware, recognize that we are sensitive, how sensitive we are. You know that there is a whole spectrum. You can be a dandelion, so maybe on the softer side of high sensitivity. You might be a tulip, so basically in the middle, or you may be an orchid. It's about 1 to 5% of highly sensitive people. So, like, you are very sensitive, and very sensitive within the highly sensitive people means you were even more sensitive to harsh lights, to maybe fabric, basically to everything that you can feel. Sensory, our senses are overstimulated. Emotionally, you are maybe sensitive also to smells, to social interactions even more. So you have to see, and you have to take enough time, alone time, me time, be it through meditation, walks in the park, moments of reading, whatever works for you, but time where you are on your own, sitting with your thoughts, in order to understand what are your triggers and your glimmers. So basically, what is something that's gonna put me into flight, fight, or freeze mode, something that's triggering, that's gonna put me, like, you heard me say the word and my hand basically turned into claws. So yeah, what is it that comes and spikes those cortisol levels, the stress? What is it? How bad is it? So that I can see how I can maybe not erase it completely from my existence, but maybe minimize exposure. And on the other hand, what lights me up? What are my glimmers? What brings me joy? What makes my heart pound? What makes my corners go up, my lips corner, what makes me smile, basically. So that's how you're gonna be able to basically recognize how sensitive or what sort of sensitive you are, and what it is that you need specifically, uniquely, to be able to have a healthy, sustainable definition of success. A tool that I used for that I really liked, is called the SWAN journaling. SWAN being strengths, weaknesses, ambitions, and needs. What it is that makes me feel great, that I'm really good at naturally, innately. What is my kryptonite? What are my ambitions? What, like, are my dreams, my aspirations? And what do I need in order to get there? Once this is clear for you, the next step is to adjust, customize, adapt. So be very specific about the kind of routines that are going to be working for you, the best activities, the environment, and also the mindset. Are you the kind of person who needs to do solo sports? I don't know, horse riding or running? Or are you more of a team player? Do you need to have people around you to feel good? Are you someone who needs to be working out in the morning because that's what gives you energy for the rest of the day? Or do you need it at the end of the day to get all the stress and adrenaline out of your system? Do you need to be practicing? I'm giving the example of sports, but, like, obviously there are also many other outlets. Although sports helps a lot to keep our neurotransmitters checked. Um, Am I an indoors kind of person and I an outdoors kind of person? Do I need to be in a competitive kind of environment? Do I need to be in a gentle kind of environment? Basically, experiment, see what works, see where you feel good. Our body is so much smarter than us. Like, basically, when you start an activity and you see from the first minutes that you feel relaxed, at ease, yourself, it flows, then this is something that works for you. If from the very first moments you're starting to feel tense and shrugged with a clenched jaw, then it might be not the right call. So yeah, just be really aware, self-aware, and make sure to have a balance between how to make things get out of your system and how to be grounded. Again, meditation, for example, and mindfulness practices are very helpful, but there are so many ways to do it. I know friends who tell me, how can you do that? How can you sit with your thoughts? I would go crazy. Well, I need guided meditations, otherwise my monkey brain takes over. However, I've realized that I also meditate when I take a really good coffee and I mindfully take it, enjoying every sip. When I'm showering after a long workout, and I visualize that as I am cleaning myself, I'm also cleaning out every stressful thing, moment, thought that I had in the day. Sometimes it's dancing that lets me process things. So again, it's an experimentation. Give yourself permission to just try and see what works for you, when it works for you, when it's the right time, and be flexible about it. Maybe some days it will be easier to schedule it in the morning. Maybe other days it will be during lunch break, and maybe other times it will be at the end of the day. It doesn't matter as long as you make yourself a priority. And making yourself a priority basically means high fiving yourself in the mirror in the morning. And again, going back to that, whatever will cost me my energy, uh, to please, or because I think I have to do it, is something that I'm going to be paying a high price for in the long term. So that's why you have to try and figure out what's going to be working for you. And once you've done that, try to make it easy for you to commit to those habits by bite sizing them, basically. So, what are the smallest versions of those activities that you can input into your daily schedules so that you can make them non negotiable? Pick me up breaks. Do you need, I don't know, 15 minutes in the morning to be having your coffee or your tea without being disturbed? Do you need to have a power nap after lunch for 10 or 20 minutes to be able to be charged up for the day? Do you need to take a walk every day? Your 10,000 steps or your half an hour or whatever you call it, so that you can process everything in a calmer way. Whatever it is, try to see what's the smallest version of it that you can be sure to be implementing on a daily basis so that it becomes a non-negotiable, and then with over time it becomes then a habit. Before we wrap up, I would like to share with you another somatic body, if you like, practice that has helped me a lot, processing and also reviewing, readjusting when I start my day and I have a fantastic time, and at some point, I don't know, I have bad news, or I start overthinking one situation, or basically something happens that messes up with my balance. So, breath work is a great tool that you can take 5 minutes to do anywhere. Tapping is also a wonderful solution, a very powerful tool. The beauty of it is as little as 5 minutes can be a total game changer. Basically, tapping is, or EFT, emotional freedom technique, is that over our body we have meridians in Chinese traditional medicines. So if you're familiar with acupuncture, it's where we will place the needles to heal some traumas or diseases. Here, take it easy, no needles involved. It's just through our fingers, through gentle tapping with our fingers in specific locations, that we can get grounded again if we need it. So, given that today is about redefining success, I want to suggest to you that we go through a practice to help redefine, redesign our vision of success on our own term. So, once more, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath through your nose, hold for a few seconds. Exhale as slowly, deeply, and gently that you can with your mouth. I'm going to invite you just for a couple of rounds to put your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your left hand, and think about the question that we started with. What is your definition of your success, of succeeding, of thriving, and what are the obstacles that you have been facing up until now? And again, take a deep breath in with your nose, letting your belly go out. Hold, imagining that your heart is opening slowly and listening to the sound of your heart. Exhale as gently as you can with your mouth. You may now slowly open your eyes, and I am going to guide you through our tap in sequence. The idea is that it might help you, depending on the day you had, lower your stress or anxiety levels, maybe relieve your pain if you have a slight headache or some tension, I don't know, in your jaw or on your neck. It's also beautiful for healing emotional spikes, and it can be a fantastic tool to bring more focus and improve our performance. So I have put in my slide the sequence, but I think the best you could do is maybe watch and listen for the first round and then close your eyes for the next round. So we will start with what we call, and I love the name, karate chop. Like, imagine Karate Kid when he had like to hit the bricks. So basically, you can choose your right or your left hand, it's up to you. And we're gonna use the opposite hand's fingers or nails, whatever you like, to be tapping on the side of our hands, so basically under the baby finger. So my invitation is that we will be tapping either with two fingers or your whole hand, whatever works for you, repeating the sentences that I will be saying. It's okay if you're somewhere where you cannot talk, you can also just listen and repeat them silently in your head. So let's get started. We will start by the side of our hand, tapping about 5 to 7 times, repeating this statement. Even though I'm afraid of failing or being judged for pursuing my own definition of success, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm afraid of failing or being judged for pursuing my own definition of success, I deeply and completely accept myself. We will move on to the eyebrow, right or left, it doesn't matter. Repeating again a new statement and tapping along the way. What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not good enough? Side of the eye, left or right, tapping again. What will others think? What will others think? Under the eye, I'm afraid of disappointing myself and others. I am afraid of disappointing myself and others. Under the nose, this fear has been holding me back. This fear has been holding me back. Chin under the lips, I release the fear of failure. I release this fear of failure. Collarbone with one or two hands. I choose to believe in myself. I choose to believe in myself. Under the arm, on the ribs, right or left side, I am capable of achieving my own definition of success. I am capable of achieving my own definition of success. Top of your head, I am free to pursue my dreams. I am free to pursue my dreams. Let's go over it one more time, this time with your eyes closed if you can, and we'll repeat where to tap. Don't you worry about that. So we start with the side of the hand. Even though I'm afraid of failing or being judged for pursuing my own definition of success, even though I am afraid of failing or being judged for pursuing my own definition of success, I deeply and completely accept myself. I deeply and completely accept myself. Eyebrow. What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not good enough? Side of the eye. What will others think? What will others think? Under the eye. I'm afraid of disappointing myself and others. I'm afraid of disappointing myself and others. Under the nose. This fear is holding me back. This fear is holding me back. Chin. I release this fear of failure. I release this fear of failure. Collarbone. I choose to believe in myself. I choose to believe in myself. Underarm. I'm capable of achieving my own definition of success. I am capable of achieving my own definition of success. Top of the head. I am free to pursue my dreams. I am free to pursue my dreams. Deep breath in. One last round. Karate chop, side of the hand. Even though I am afraid of failing or being judged for pursuing my own definition of success. Even though I'm afraid of failing or being judged for pursuing my own definition of success. I deeply and completely accept myself. I deeply and completely accept myself. Eyebrow. What if I'm not good enough? What if I am not good enough? Side of the eye. What will others think? What will others think? Under the eye. I'm afraid of disappointing myself and others. I am afraid of disappointing myself and others. Under the nose. This fear is holding me back. This fear is holding me back. Chin. I release this fear of failure. I release this fear of failure. Collarbone. I choose to believe in myself. I choose to believe in myself. Under the arm. I am capable of achieving my own definition of success. I am capable of achieving my own definition of success. Top of the head. I am free to pursue my dreams. I am free to pursue my dreams. Take a deep breath in with your nose. Hold. This time I'm gonna invite you to have this belly in, hold those abs, clench your jaw, clench your fist. Maybe lift your shoulders up to your ears, tense everything as much as you can. One more sip of breath, one more if you can, and let it all out with a big sigh. So, how are you feeling after this session of tapping? I'm wondering what it has been bringing to you. So we're reaching the end of our masterclass. I just have some last messages I would like to share. Basically, your takeaway from today is a gentle reminder that we do have the power to create our own definition of success. And to quote Spider-Man, a great power, meaning great responsibility, we have a duty to ourselves and to others to create a life that's both fulfilling and sustainable by embracing the uniqueness of our trait and putting ourselves, our well being, at the top of this priority list. That's what will help us achieve our goals while staying true to ourselves. So it's okay not to fit in. It's okay not to match with the mainstream definition of success. It's a very personal quest. Remember to never, and I love this quote, I don't remember who I've got it or heard it, where I heard it from, but I think it's tremendously powerful. Never, ever, no matter what, take criticism, bad feedback from someone you would not ask for advice in the first place. So please remember to put yourself first, and put yourself first means put your values, what brings you joy, first and above. Remember, it's an inside job, it's your own responsibility. It would be easy to turn on the victim mode. People are difficult, my colleagues don't understand me, my bosses don't understand me, they don't know how I work. Well, they're not highly sensitive. Maybe they don't know how to embrace or accept. However, empathy is a two-way street. Maybe you can also express your own need, state your ground, your boundaries, and learn to accept, not to fit in, and not to need to seek external validation at all costs. And okay, yes, I'm different. However, my difference is my beautiful gift. And so many successful people, from Tim Ferriss to Oprah Winfrey, are highly sensitive, who have Steve Jobs, who have embraced this part of them that let them be empathic, deeply connect with people, creativity. So being self-aware of this gift is what will help us succeed and thrive. And that's why we need to cultivate self-awareness and keep on also being dutiful to shake things up, basically customize the self-care, make it evolve over time. And remember, it's a continuous journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It will take time. There will be some hiccups, and that's perfectly okay. And you're not alone. There are so many of us. We account for 30% of the global population. There are many communities of highly sensitive people. You can just basically look them up. There are public ones, there are private ones, with people that are ready and happy to support and empower you, so that you can step away from the pressure of constantly having to face external expectations of people who do not understand the way you work, and try and start to embrace your freedom to define success the way that works for you. Do you have any questions? I'm gonna check the different groups on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Let me check if there are any new notifications. Well, no questions for now. That's okay. It is a lot to process, so I do completely get that. Anyhow, if something comes up, feel free to reach out through LinkedIn. I am very active on it. I will be more than happy to help you explore how sensitive leaders, whether you're a manager with multiple teams, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're self employed as a freelancer, I will be happy to share with you my own tested tips, tricks, and strategies to be able to thrive with embracing those inner abilities. My program is easy 9 steps, where basically the big first chunk is about awareness, what we have been discussing. So basically, understanding what kind of high sensitive person you are, what are your specific triggers and glimmers, what are your unique patterns of resilience. Are you more a physical and emotional and intellectual person? What's how your senses respond to your environments? And once we have decoded basically the keys to your sensitivity, then, as also an agile coach and a facilitator, I will share with you my strategies that we will be adjusting, customizing to your own specific needs, for learning to work smarter rather than harder. Again, as highly sensitive people, we are not capable of succeeding by going through the hustle and bustle. We have a different way of doing things, an out of the box way, and that can be tremendously efficient once we know how to embrace it. So this part is more about growing, succeeding, but doing it in a way where you can still reach your goals, define the goals that make more sense to you without constantly seeking this freaking external validation. And then the third part of the program is about finding the right ways, the right rituals, the right tools to keep you grounded. So there will be breath work and tapping. You've had a glimpse at it through today's masterclass, but I have a few other tools at hand. And the idea is that I want to completely customize it to your specific needs. So again, if it's something you'd like to consider, maybe reach out. We can have a short 30 minutes call, discuss what your journey is about right now, and see if I'm the right person to help you, or if you need a different kind of guidance. Thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this masterclass. I'm Lena. I'm a highly sensitive solopreneur, and I'm also a nomad. So maybe that's also something could be exploring together, a different kind of journey, but that's also souls, us trailblazing, highly sensitive souls. I wish wherever you are in the world right now, that you have a great day or lunch break or evening. And thank you so much for being here. Bye.